What's up, cigar junkies? It's your boy Ashhead, and I am here with another great cigar review on the LFD Double Ligero Digger Maduro Grande. And yes, size does matter. Oh man, I'm not gonna make a video on why should you smoke a cigar this big or why shouldn't you smoke a cigar of this size. This is an 8.5 by 60 ring gauge cigar, and this cigar can take up a lot of time in your day, but I'm not gonna get into any of that. I'm gonna smoke the cigar. I'm gonna tell you what I think about the cigar and suggest to you if you should smoke this cigar or not. But most importantly, all you want to know whether or not if the cigar is nub worthy, because if it's nub worthy, Ashhead, that tells me everything that I need to know. We're gonna get this cigar lit up and I will be right back. We are back and we are cutting this cigar with the V cut. The pull on that cigar is a little tight, so hoping it'll loosen up for me. But there is a story behind this cigar and how it got to its size. There was another. Oh, that baby needs some fluid. There was another cigar called the DL700 by LFD. And there was a guy by the nickname of Digger who frequent the LFD shop. And one day he had an opportunity to sit down with Lito Gomez of LFD. I got a crack in the wrapper of this cigar right at the head of it. So it's making it a little difficult to light, but we're gonna try to get past that. And that crack came at my fault because I remember when I dropped the cigar that caused it to crack. That was my fault all together. But back to the story. The story was that Digger, this guy who was nicknamed Digger, came to Lito Gomez, and he was a fan of another cigar, which was the DL700. And he said, hey, you know what? This is one of my favorite cigars, but there's one problem I have with this cigar. And the problem is it's about 2 inches too short. All the flavor notes, all the tobaccos in this cigar are just great. But when I get to the nub, I'm adding this part, I'm paraphrasing, I'm freestyling on this part. When I get to the nub, I need about 2 inches more. So he made this cigar and added the 2 additional inches, and that's why this cigar is nicknamed the Digger after Digger himself. Isn't that a great story? Well, I got this big fella lit. I'm gonna smoke it down and I'm gonna be back to tell you about the flavor notes in this cigar. Be right back. I am back and I am about a fourth of the way into this cigar, and at the start of this beautiful stick, I do have a tight draw. And I spent the time off camera trying to loosen up the draw on the cigar. Wrapper on this cigar is a Connecticut broadleaf, and the filler is Dominican Republican, and the binder is also Dominican Republican, and this is a 8.5 by 60 ring gauge cigar, And the shape of this cigar is Gordo Extra. And this is only about a $10 stick. And I always find this cigar at my local cigar shop. This particular one came from Black Lion Luxuries in an LFD sampler pack. So shout out to those guys for sending me a great sampler pack. We're gonna smoke this cigar down a little bit, so I'll be back. Hey guys, I'm a little back a little sooner than what I wanted to be. I'm having all sorts of problems with the cap end of the cigar having a crack in it from when I dropped it. So it was a pretty hard drop. So what happened was the binder, as the wrapper as well as the binder, cracked. So as I'm pulling, in addition to having a slightly tight draw, as I'm pulling, I'm losing air out of the side because my mouth just doesn't cover that much of the cigar. And because of the man that I am, I'm not gonna put that much of the cigar in my mouth. But, and in addition to that, now it's starting to correct itself. I was getting a mouse hole burn on the side, but the cigar is correcting itself, and it is staying lit pretty fine despite me losing the air, but I'm having trouble just getting smoke into my mouth. And the heartbreaking thing about it is this cigar tastes so good, man. From the start, you can taste like a sweet leatheriness, that kind of the finish leaves like a chocolatey taste on your mouth, and the strength of the cigar doesn't seem like it's going to be a knock you off your feet strength, not yet. But I can tell that this cigar is going into another flavor transition that's kind of coffee-like, more so to say. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to the nub. And this cigar is not nub-worthy because of the damage, but is nub-worthy because of how great it tastes. So I'm going to keep on trying with this. In addition to, let me put it on my cigar rest. In addition to, I had an idea. And guys, comment below if this is a good idea. I did a V-cut on this cigar, so I put out my Calibre cutter, and I was going to just cut down to about when I almost cut the cap off so that I can get a lot of that crack out of it and see if that was going to help. Then I dropped my cutter. Now I got a little spring, something else that holds it together, and I got pieces of my cutter, and I do not see how I can put my cutter back together again. Gosh. Like Humpty Dumpty sit on the wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horsemen and men could not put Ashhead's lighter back together again. Or cutter, I said lighter, but I meant to say cutter. Oh, please don't let nothing happen to the lighter. That'll just be the end all be all if something happened to the lighter at this point. So, hey, so far, a frustrating start to this smoke. A frustrating start to this smoke. But it's all my fault. I wanted to keep doing a review. Sometimes some people would just stop the review right there and just trash the review and wait till they get another cigar and come back. I could have did all of that, and you guys would have never known what happened. But I take this as a lesson learned and a lesson that I want to help you guys with. Excuse me for that. A lesson that I want to help you guys with, and that's the handling of your cigars. See only that little bit of smoke that I'm getting out because I'm losing some air. So I'm gonna try to doctor on my cigar because I want to continue this review. I want you guys to know what great cigar this is, and I'll be right back. Guys, I am so excited, man. And you know what? I'm gonna end this cigar review while I'm ahead. This cigar has a transition from first third to second third, and now getting ready to move into the final third, has started performing excellent despite how terrible I damaged this cigar. The performance on this cigar has been superb, guys. Superb. Man, I'll tell you, I can't talk about this enough. So that just tells me this is a very well constructed cigar. The smoke time on this cigar is about an hour and a half or hour to 45 minutes, which speaks to the great construction of this cigar, because despite the problems that I was having, I think this still can be rated as maybe an hour to an hour and 15 minutes smoke time. So you're not going to take up a whole about 2 hours to smoke a cigar of this size. Again, I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. The transitions that were in this cigar, those leather notes came back very strong with that sweet cocoa, and dark coffee was still there remaining in this cigar as it comes to the final third of this cigar. Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, I will still give this cigar an 8. I was thinking, should I just rate the cigar for how I'm smoking it now? I often hear Ron Real mention that in his videos, that he's only rating the cigar for how it's performing or how it's smoking at that very moment. But I have to be fair with this particular cigar just because of the fact that it was damaged by me, the owner of the cigar. And it wasn't damaged in shipping. It wasn't damaged by maybe sitting in someone else's humidor and then give it to me. So, hey, scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give this cigar a 8, and I enjoyed this cigar thoroughly. Guys, try the LFD Double Ligero. Tell me what you think about it if you try this cigar of this size. Also, go into the comments and suggest some things that I could have did in order to make the cigar perform better when you damage your own cigar. Talk to me about any experience that you also had about a cigar that you have damaged. Ash head out.